Welcome back to Evolve. We are so happy to have you here. We have another amazing guest on with us today. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell me a bit about yourself, your background, and what you're doing now.
Well, hello guys. My name is Luis Sanchez. You can call me Luigi. So originally from the Dominican Republic. Still, I feel like I'm a New Yorker. I was in New York for 10 years, living in Maryland right now. Currently a designer, photographer, social media manager, a little bit of everything, but mostly photography.
Love that. So where are you currently working? You said you lived in New York.
No, I was in New York.
Okay,
I'm currently in Maryland. Mm-hmm. So I work for a nonprofit organization. So from one of their departments, I do everything from like video for social media, like the website, like pictures, design, flyers, anything that's created for that department. I'm in charge of that. So
wow,
yeah,
that's awesome. My dream job. No. I know you mentioned you do photography, kind of design, a little bit of everything. Yeah. What is a typical shoot for you? And of the shoots that you've done, what's been a favorite for you?
I think throughout the years, my favorite has become portraits, so especially like couples, like maternity, but mostly capturing like moments of joy, like with intimate portraits. Before I remember when I'm like my first couple of years in New York City, I was actually more into like landscape and like taking pictures of the city, street photography. But throughout the years, I had discovered that capturing like really nice portraits of people can be like this joy and this feeling of like, oh wow, like I make this person look better. And I actually was able to capture like a picture when this person is happy and they look happy and they really like that emotion, what they see. So yeah, that's great. I know it's interesting always to see like people's like transitions, like what they start out doing and then they find that maybe they still enjoy filming or shooting this certain thing, but capturing that emotion, I've heard from a lot of people too, especially other creatives, like that's what's really important, and that's what's most fulfilling for them. And for me, like I still remember people like asking me like, like you're a photographer, like where are you mostly shooting? And now a few years ago, I'm shooting like a little bit of like everything, because I was like all over the place, and for years I kept thinking, I don't think I have like a shooting style. I don't think that I have like a genre of photography that I can say, like this is what I enjoy the most. I just like to take pictures. But I feel like throughout the years, I mean, it wasn't like that. I wasn't actually looking, but like the more that I shoot, the more that I realize how happy I feel when I'm actually like capturing those like special moments, just like with like probably like a couple, making sure that they look better and they actually look happy on the pictures that I'm taking.
Yeah. I feel like when you capture that like one thing and you're like, yes, like that satisfaction is just, it's
funny because like people, they were like, why do you take so many pictures? I mean, I was like, listen, in order for me to get that perfect picture with you actually showing your true self, like you're actually enjoying that moment. I mean, we had to take like 1,000 pictures just to get that one, the perfect one. Yeah. I mean, but it's worth it. I mean, when I actually, sometimes I tell clients, like if I actually get like that picture within like the first 15 minutes, I'm like, okay, we got the picture. Get out. I mean, I'm just joking. We're gonna keep shooting, but I'm like, listen, I'm happy now. So like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're like, we're set.
We're set. Like, let's go home. Like,
this has been great. What's one of the most meaningful projects that you've worked on? I know we just talked about photography, but kind of looking outside of that, what's stood out to you?
Well, actually, photography related. Like, so last year, there is this organization called One Child Matters. They're based in Colorado. So they reached out to my friend Joe, like to go to this trip back to the Dominican Republic, which I am from. So and somehow I ended up going with them. So cool. I did not know what to expect when I went in this mission trip, because it was kind of like going back home, but in a different situation, a different scenario. Like I wasn't going just to see my family. I was going to these communities that I didn't know and like to interact with people and kids that I didn't know. And just being there and see how these people even though they didn't have much, they were so happy and so willing to give and to help other. So having the opportunity to to photograph those people and to actually get to know some of the kids that the organization is helping, I think it was the highlight of my year last year. So that project, when I actually came back home and I was actually able to go through the pictures and to do the editing of the pictures, I felt really, it felt really awesome actually that with that project, I wasn't actually planning or like looking to get good pictures. I was just like going with the flow and like getting to know these people that I didn't know, and all these kids that even though they were like probably living in like extreme poverty, but still they were like so happy and so willing to give us a smile and to keep whatever they have and just to be with us. So like definitely that mission trip was like a really special project for me. Just like the final result of like all the portraits that I took of the kids and the people from the different places that we visit. So it was a really nice project.
Yeah, and work like that is so rewarding. Yeah. It has so much more depth to it than just you like, while you going out and just shooting, like you said, like city photography or street photography like is great and you can get amazing pictures, but I feel like that sense of like just the reward that you get for yourself too and just giving back is just such like it's so much better and so much more rewarding for sure.
Yeah.
So what has been the most challenging project for you? I know we've talked about more the the positive side of creating and exploring photography, but what's been a challenge for you either working with the nonprofit or in things that you've done on the side?
I don't have a project that comes to mind. Probably it will be like something that I shoot a lot is like weddings. So I realized that shooting weddings is kind of like a learning process, not about the technicality, but about the flow, how the day goes. So you had to make a lot of mistakes. So the first couple of weddings that I did, I just have no idea what I was doing. I mean, I knew how to take pictures, of course, but I just didn't know how to deal with like situations like, right, oh, this is canceled. You're missing this or whatever, or like we don't have time. So I feel like weddings in general, I mean, like my first couple of weddings were like the most challenging. Like
I think I've heard from a lot of people that they are very challenging.
They were like the most like challenging projects. But eventually, you keep making mistakes, but then from those mistakes, you keep learning. So like whatever you did wrong in this wedding, you will not do that when you have the next one. So I feel like they're probably like the first 5 weddings that I did were like really challenging, where I was like, hey, I'm here. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, hey, I'm here. So I felt like I was lost and like all over the place. Like,
yeah. Weddings are really difficult.
Yeah. And they, like, and whoever, any photographer that does wedding, like I just like give them like kudos, like high five, because it's not just a matter of like being creative and knowing how to take pictures. It's a matter of like like people skills and like interacting with people, customer service, like trying to find peace in the middle of a crazy hurricane like that, all the chaos. So
yeah, and it's high pressure, like they're gonna they have expectations as a couple, or
they have expectations. You have expectations because you have to actually, if you miss something, that's it, there's like no more time for you. Like if you miss a child, it's like it's gone, like you have to keep moving. So it's crazy.
I have huge respect for people who do that, especially like full time. I'm like, the pressure, that is all for you.
Like for me, when I'm doing weddings, when I'm gonna do a wedding and people approach me, probably like the mom or somebody who's not actually the couple, I will tell them I would like to actually speak to them directly, because I feel like weddings are more like personal, and I actually need to feel like that we actually have a connection. If I don't feel like I have that connection with the couple, most likely I will tell them, I mean, I don't think we're like a right fit, so probably you will find somebody who's like better than me. But like, I think the special wedding days, like for photography, is like that's something very special and very unique. I think when you look for a photographer, you need to find somebody who actually has like a connection with you. And like
absolutely.
It has to be like a connection of like energy both ways.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. So we've been talking mostly about photography. So what have you considered going full time with photography? And if so, what's kind of been holding you back from taking that step and committing to that?
I had to be honest, procrastination.
Yeah.
Procrastination. Because like the things
Kills us all.
Exactly. Because the things I love the work that I do with the nonprofit. I love it that I have like freedom to be creative. And and if I have the flexibility like to travel, like I'm here right now, I'm like working, so I have the flexibility to travel, and also actually I have the flexibility to keep like shooting as a freelancer. So I will say like it's a risk to go like into full-time photography, and I know you can do it, but honestly, I feel like I procrastinate a lot, and it will take a lot of like dedication, like marketing, like selling yourself, like getting clients, like putting yourself out there. So being honest, it's like procrastination and being a little bit afraid of like
fearful
of the unknown, because it's just like, hey, like I'm my own boss right now. Like if I don't make money, I don't eat. I don't have money to pay rent. So it's like,
it's high risk.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, if you actually make it, I mean, it's something that if you love it, you will enjoy it. It will not feel like you're working.
Yeah.
So I was telling one of my friends last week, I was like, if I have to work every Sunday, but when you tell me that I have to work every Sunday, that means taking pictures every Sunday, I will be happy to do that for the rest of my life. Like I don't care if I had to work all the weekends the rest of my life, as long as like I'm taking pictures and doing things that I enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes it so much better. I mean, it doesn't even feel like then you're at a job. And I found that just with like academic work that I'm really focused on right now, or it's the project that I'm working with I'm actually working with a nonprofit as well. And the work that I'm doing for them and just revamping a lot of stuff on social media. I love it. And it's so enjoyable for me that, I'll look at the time and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Like where did time go? But it's so satisfying and so much more fulfilling.
It is like sometimes sometimes a client will book me for like a 2-hour shoot, and just because I'm actually enjoying it and I'm loving the pictures, we'll go over like an hour or 2 hours, and I will tell them, don't worry. I mean, it's fine. I mean, let's just keep shooting. Like,
you're like, these shots are worth it.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, for sure. So finally, what advice or techniques would you give to someone who is interested in what you do or the path that you've taken?
I will say, just start shooting and find something that you love shooting. So I remember one of my mentors, he tells me the same thing whenever like we see each other. He tells me never stop shooting. Even if you don't have a project, even if you don't have clients, just keep shooting. Find something that you actually love. And if you don't find that something, just keep shooting, and eventually it will come to you. I feel the more that you shoot, the more that you develop a connection with your photography, with your craft, with your camera. And it will get to the point when you don't care about the technicality, having the best camera, but just like going with the flow, being organic, and just getting those pictures that are actually capturing emotions, and those pictures that are telling something to the world, and they are like telling a story. Yeah.
And it's really an art of storytelling. And so if you just go in and practice that like more and more and more, you're honing on your craft, and you're bettering your skills and really just experimenting.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Yeah. So never stop shooting. Even if you don't have a client, even if you don't have a camera, just grab your phone, go out and keep shooting.
iPhones are out there nowadays.
Yeah. Like
you can make a lot. So
definitely.
absolutely.
Like, it's all about just using what you have. So
for sure.
Definitely.
So what would you tell young photographers who are really trying to figure out their niche or figure out if they should even pursue photography? What would you tell them?
I will tell them, if you feel that you have a passion for photography, go for it. I feel when you actually do something that you really love, you get this amazing feeling of doing something that you actually love and you enjoy, and you actually get paid for it. And not only that you get paid for it, actually, you get to see your final piece of work like hanging on somebody's wall, or like print on a magazine, or somebody's gonna post. Cool. I mean, it feels amazing when you actually deliver some pictures, and then you see like the person who paid for those pictures, that they use those pictures for like social media, their profile pictures. They actually order prints. I mean, it feels amazing. So you know, and I feel like if you have a passion, go for it. Like, it doesn't matter if you think, oh, there's like a million photographers out there. I feel like there is a space for everybody. Everybody is bringing something different. Everybody has a unique vision of how they want to create images. So I will definitely, even if you're struggling right now, just give it a try. Go for it. And I know that you're going to feel amazing, because I mean, you're doing something that you actually love.
Yeah. So where can people find you? What are your handles? What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
All right. So you can find me, like everybody else, on Instagram, Facebook, so TikTok, Snapchat, same handle. Is it here? Like, yeah. Here, there. Okay, here. I don't know. Here, there. Yeah. You'll follow me there.
We'll find you. We got you. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down, talking with me. This was great.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So thank you all for tuning in and listening to us have this amazing conversation. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You can check us out at evolve-network.com and join Mighty Networks, join a circle. You are actually in the photography circle.
Yeah, so
I'm in there as well. So love to connect with you. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.
All right. Okay.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Okay, do not use that. Okay. Remember, guys, do not listen to the haters. Do you? Okay? You didn't go with fun. Whatever. No, it was.
Keep it in there, please.
Don't use that.